Hey everyone, how's it going? I am Xeracon and I am back once again. Recently, I finished Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep for the first time ever, and while I have some issues with it, it's a pretty good game. However, I noticed that in the story, it could have been simple to unravel Master Xehanort's plan, or at the very least, not make things so easy for him. And while most of the protagonists bear some responsibility for how things turned out, one of them is most responsible and guilty of the final results. But before I go any further into this, just know that there will be some major spoilers, so if you haven't played Birth by Sleep yet and want to keep the experience as fresh as possible, please leave this video. So, the one most responsible for Xehanort winning and all the events that follow Birth by Sleep is Master Eraqus. On my first playthrough, I did Terra's story and I saw how he and Master Yensid were supposedly in communication this entire time, but neither seemed to properly address Xehanort, if at all. Heck, Yensid mentions to himself after Terra leaves that he hopes his suspicions about Xehanort aren't true, yet he didn't think to share that with Eraqus. I would also like to mention that even though he no longer uses a Keyblade, Eraqus could have had him attend the Mark of Mastery exam along with or even instead of Xehanort. So in Terra's story, both masters are seemingly equally responsible. However, things changed once I played Ventus's story. A flashback showed that Eraqus and Xehanort had a dispute over Kingdom Hearts, and as a result, Eraqus was scarred by Xehanort. Also, he saw that Xehanort wielded the power of darkness. Despite that, he still thought it was a good idea to have him watch over the exam. Sure, he might have thought that things could have gotten better over the years, especially after Xehanort dropped off a nearly catatonic Ven, which also seems suspicious, but I would at the very least not have completely forgotten about what had happened. Eraqus' face is a physical reminder of what Xehanort is capable of. How he looks in the mirror every day and still thinks that's a good idea to have him monitor young Keyblade wielders is beyond me. He also never fully questioned where the darkness from the light orbs came from, or suspected that it could have come from the guy who used darkness during one of their last encounters. What kind of short-term memory does he have? And as a quick note, how the heck is he going to have double standards after the exam? Xehanort blasts him twice with darkness, and the relationship they have is fine, but Terra suppresses the urge to use darkness, and somehow he failed to keep it in check sufficiently? Make that make sense. But one of the biggest blunders I think he made is sending Aqua and Terra out to handle a new threat that they have little information about, by themselves. You're telling me that one newly minted Keyblade Master and one almost Keyblade Master are enough to handle this? Also, he was trying to get into contact with Xehanort, whom we just saw earlier, but couldn't reach him and hoped that nothing had happened to him. So assuming that Xehanort wasn't evil, if a seasoned warrior with decades of experience might have been overpowered by the unversed, why would it make sense to just send these two? They hadn't even traveled to other worlds before. This is like sending two rookie cops who just graduated from the police academy to go fight a war. By themselves. And while the actions of Ventus, Aqua, and Terra do play a role in the outcome of the game, Eraqus set them up for failure. He didn't use any logic or critical thinking by inviting Yensid or even consulting with him before the exam. He sent them off with just a, "do a good job, guys." He should have at the very least had them perform routine check-ins to report their findings on the worlds they visited. Sure, Terra would have felt guilty because he believed that he stole Princess Aurora's heart, but if Eraqus has at least half the knowledge that Xehanort does, he could be able to see that something isn't right because Terra still has light in his heart. Terra could have informed him that he had been in communication with Xehanort, and both Terra and Aqua would also be able to inform him about Vanitas, and with Terra's additional info about where he came from, Eraqus would have had to get off his comfy chair and actually do something. It's these simple things that would have made a huge difference if Eraqus decided to just use more than 2 brain cells. And I get it. If Eraqus had done all this, continuity-wise, it would mess things up since Xehanort is supposed to ultimately prevail in this game to kickstart the events of the other games. That can still happen. But it doesn't need to happen so effortlessly. Up until the end of the game, Xehanort has been playing on easy mode because of how stupid everyone has been. And you could try to forgive the trio as having youthful ignorance, but Eraqus has no excuse. He practically served them up on a silver platter. So for all the reasons I mentioned, he is the one most responsible for how Birth by Sleep ends. But that will do it for today. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, I appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Eraqus is the most responsible? Do you think the blame goes to another character? Is Vanitas Remnant the most absurd and broken secret boss in the franchise? Let me know. So until next time everyone, I am Xeracon signing off. Have a good one.